So we'll get started. Anybody got dialogues for us that you want to share? Should we wait till next week? Nasa ituwasaku.
Depends on Satuk if I just sent her the end of it. So I don't know if she wants to do it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we got a couple that are going on Tuesday. Iqwati. Yidetqa yidqaha guk.
Okay. Satuk, wa'e akwa?
Adusawa.
Keska kadirji hunak.
Yak
Gusuwe ya yiki.
Zuni, New Mexico. Yit ka dashkan in.
Yikewa. Wasa ieti. Wasa ieti.
Clefwasa. Wa ekoa.
Jishugu awe. Wasa kuwati wake.
Iodity ka audigan ka regular. Sorry. Wasakuti huna.
Yesu sievdakwasitan.
Oh.
Satuk. Iskun yejinege ya yan uwane. Go ahead. Katsu yan wasine. Khat ku Yesu khat kashafrit.
Klokta.
Slash una slash gun gauk. Yeah.
I lost that page.
You want me to read your last line for you? This is Satuk.
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna sheesh achjik a ten.
Gonna cheese.
Echa. Achunach wuk a. Ye nailed
Gonna cheese.
Can cheesecha. Okay. Anybody else go?
Juan Kagus Kuschan Guzwa Kuschan. Do you want to do it? Oh, I could see you sitting there. Hi. Okay, I'll put it on here. Oh, that's not me. Hold on. I don't know what I'm doing. Just a minute. There we go. Khataya. All right. Ayake. Gusawet Jock. Okay. Gook.
Skafnik Krega we Kawayik Yagu Yi Juan Klein Kuschan has Afliech. How? Slinget Yukatangi again to Konetin Ichtide Ku again? Chetsu Christian Aya.
Ach, de, tlingit yucatanga yakawo, how.
Yak Sitini, Tuye Yanaka, Wasai do a Saklingit Kainach.
Yak tini, Juan Thain achsai.
Gunnar Chish, Gudesa Yan Idakin.
Anchorage Day yan chadakin, Kachchanak dach. Elder Youth Conference, yes. Wa'aka?
Kachchana Ak, Yeha Yati Ach Kunchi. Anchorage Day Yan Chadakin Akawe Elders and Youth too.
Kwal ich kwasatin.
Gunnar Chish Satini, Wish Kanach Kegach to the art.
Gonna chish.
Oh, yakecha. Katyuhan yishekudzi. Yakecha way. Ganas chish. Tsukke kwash hooch. Okay, so we can keep doing these. We'll just make sure that everybody has a chance to do theirs. Basically, you do it and you get like 1,000 million gold stars. Gun kutch ayanaha ekade kunachawe kakwaha. And then we'll start looking at our words. We're going to pick up this weather chapter and zoom through it and look at some of the concepts that it's showing us. Anybody got any language questions or anything that we should look at? Okay.
Did you look at that? Yeah.
Asa?
What does the in do at the end of a verb, like utian?
Uh-huh.
How does it modify?
So there's, let's see, let me pull up my notes. So the in or a un at the end of a verb. So like, let's take, I'll show you some examples of how it's used and then we'll talk about what it is. So we're looking at this ending here. It could be in or it could be un. And let's make that big. That's too small. And let's make the thing bigger. So this is what we call decessive. In the linguistic term is decessive. And what that means is it means it used to be a one way, but it's not that way anymore. And so this is where we get into interesting discussions with time and event with Tlingit. Because chwasaku is a verb, and how would we translate chwasaku?
I know.
I know. So I know it, especially, or I know him or her. There's an object on there, right? We just don't see it because it's a zero. And so then we could say kash chwasaku. I don't know it. I saw a really great sample sentence today. I think it was something like kesh i'ideka kodeshi kechwashaguk. I'm not going to help you. I don't know how to do it. It's a great sample sentence. But so the thing here is with this chwasaku, even though that means I know it, it has to have the perfective marker in there. And so if you were going to say, and this is one of those things, like this is a verb in English that works very similar. If you say use the past tense of I know, you would say I knew it, but sometimes that implies that you don't know it now, right? So it's kind of a weird thing. So if we said chwasakuwan like this, that means I used to know it, but I don't know it anymore. So this is one of the things that the decessive is doing, is it's saying it's not like that anymore. And so this is why you would say you do sagen. She or he used to be called that, but is not called that anymore because they're gone, right? And so these are some other things, and you could also say Talchasakun. I didn't know that, but now I do. And so this has both a negative and a decessive. So you can have both of them on there, right? And so that's what the decessive does. You're going to see it come up from time to time, especially when people talk about the way that people used to do things, but they don't do it like that anymore, or it used to be like this, but it's not like that anymore. And that's when you're going to get this suffix. And this suffix, you can basically add it to a perfective, but then the classifier needs to go minus I. Okay? Okay. Any other questions?
I was looking for the verb stem to kenashwut, and I didn't find it in the Carrie's verb dictionary. And I remember Satuk talking about it, and I was wondering about that verb.
I've never talked to Kaki Shao about where she found this verb. George Davis would be a pretty good guess. And so I've never found it anywhere else, I don't think. So like if you encounter a verb and you don't know, you want to learn a little bit more about it, there's a number of different things that you can look at. So the first place I would say is go to the Tlingit Verb Dictionary. It's sort of, even though it's kind of difficult to use, it's easier than all of the others right now. Or it's a good place to go because you look things up pretty fast. And so we'd look up woot in the W's. We go to the W's and we see woo, woos, wooch, woot, woosh, wook, wook, wook. But then that's all for the WOs. So then the next place, so if we go into Agishawu's work, we're going to find it down here. To be strong. And so we get this wook. And if we want to see if it's been documented somewhere else, there's this thing called the stem list, which is by Jeff Lear, which is a very good resource, but it's not the easiest thing to read. It's if you come in, basically you get into it and you've got pencil marks over here. It's not really as straightforward as some other stuff. He's got his own way of kind of writing some of the vowels, which, the downward slash means it's long and low, right? So this is ha, he. And so then we can go into the table of contents and go to the W, U, and we can look and see there's woos, woos, woot, woot. And then we can sort of look through his pencil notes, and it says right here, maybe woot, become stubborn. But that's tujawoot. And so, and it looks like there's an apostrophe on there, but it gets a little bit tough to kind of read. But if you wanted to see what does this verb root mean, you could go in here and find the verb root right in here. And so you could find like woot, which is a whole, which changes to wash when it becomes a verb root. And then so maybe it's in there, but we don't see it sort of on its own. And so we can look here as well. And this is another document, Tlingit Verbs by Jeff Lear. And we'll look in here and see if there's any instances of wook. And so here's the w. To float, we've got woo to order, we've got woo to dare, we've got woo Wena for face powder, woot to peel something, woots for something to be crunchy, woot, which is trouble or war or hurrying, woos, wooch. The one thing that I think it's probably related to, there's this thing with Tlingit where there's certain sounds that'll go sort of, a TL apostrophe can also have a variation that's a CH apostrophe. For example, if we look up the verb for being sharp, we go down and we are looking for sharp, and we see shakutz. And so this TS and the TL can sometimes become a CH, and I don't really know why, but what is this little guy's name right here? Ashakach. So that name itself comes from cha, which is this is a thematic prefix. It could go on the front of a verb. It means hair. So naqat's is a fox. Chashlate naqat's would be a white fox. Chashtuj. So that means to have black hair, to have white hair. And in this case, we have cha, shla, kach. And this is a variation of the verb root cuts, to be sharp. So it means sharp hair. And so there's a verb tushewuch, which means, so we'll go here, to be stubborn. So that is probably related to the woot verb root. But again, we don't have it really documented as far as I know. And I don't know if that switch, I don't know why it switches like that. But so if we look for a woot on here, we see peel and we get stubborn in there. So that's probably where that strong verb comes from, to be strong. Maybe it's more like being steadfast, because they'll say tutlawuch is to also hold steady, Any other questions?
Would that be related to ductute?
Also duktut. So this is another one of those. So we have duk tut. This is what we call the strong man. So these are two different words that are put together. So when Tlingit makes compound words, typically everything gets short, everything goes, either stays or goes short and low, except for the last syllable, right, or the last word. That's usually when we start putting them into a compound. And so what is the duk part?
Skin?
What's that? Well, the second part is, so duke is skin, right? Dugu is hide, because it's been removed, right? So this is in duke. And then where would the toot part come from?
Is that tooch?
It is exactly like tooch. So then we see the CH switching to a TL, and it can switch to a TS. And it's really, I think it's only with the apostrophe versions, those pinched versions, those ejectives. I don't know why it does that, but you'll see it every now and then. Duktuch, chashakach. It's just something that happens. But so if you encounter something like woot, maybe you'll find a similar thing under woot.
But all three of those are articulated at the same point.
Yeah, right, it's such a tiny, it's not a very, it's such a subtle shift. It's an easy shift to make between and ch and ch. But there could be some meaning difference. So like, actually this would be kind of fun. So there's a pretty like, oh, hold on. See, another example of this where the meaning does change, I'll show you in these phrases we collected for like coot is a short and high-pitched fart, and cooch is a noiseless fart. So they are similar, but then they are, and then guach is a loud fart. And so those are the three primary categories of farts in Tlingit. And so then you see that switch again, that TLCH, where there's just a slight meaning switch. And so there could be something there where maybe that toot is not quite toot. It's when someone's got to do some experiments with that one. Not with the farting, but with that sound. Okay. That's good stuff. So these are just things that you'll encounter. It's just these little variables. It's like this, except here are some exceptions, right? So let's go through the weather. We'll go through kind of fast up until the point we were, which I think was moving into the perfective. So we'll just say each of these once. Wasakuwati.
Wasakuwati.
Wasakuyati.
Wasakuyati.
Kuwake.
Kuwake.
Kuyake.
Kuyake.
Audagon.
Audidan.
Udagon.
Udagon.
Pushagoose.
Kugus.
Huwata.
Kuwata.
Huyata.
Kuyata.
Kusiat.
Kusiat.
And then you can say kusiat again.
Kusiat again.
Some people will say some people will say like kunach.
Kunach. Kunach.
Hudach.
Kudach.
Kutch.
Kut.
Play dark wusatan.
Dark wusitan.
Siu dark wusatan.
Siu dark wusitan.
Kadas dark wusatan.
Kadas
Dark wusitan.
Kakshahin dark wusatan.
Kaklahin da.
Wusitan.
Kasechcha dark wusatan.
Sechja da.
Dark wusitan.
Hudagwats.
Kudagwas.
Ayaudati.
Ayagiti.
Ayakawadan.
Ayakawadan.
Kashkushka.
Klech kushke.
Katyawasik.
Yawasik.
Katwadatak.
Khatwadatak.
Ishan.
Ishan.
Yidat.
Yidat.
Yayagi.
Yayaki.
Tatge.
Atke.
And so yidat, and it kind of works as an adjective as well. Like you could say, there was someone who said, "Chak wekate, hachant wetlingit chant wekate, kashidat kate yachas ute, shingit yachas yakudzige." They'd say, long time ago, the dogs that were around Tlingit people, they weren't like the dogs of today. Yidat, or you could say yidadi, yidadikate, yidadi Tlingit, the Tlingits of today. They said long time ago, dogs were just as smart as people. And same with tatge, you could have something from yesterday, like tatge saknein, I don't know. But yidat is now, yayaki is today, tatge is yesterday. Ka.
Ka.
So.
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 And how do you know if the tsu is also or again?
One's high tone and the other one doesn't have the.
The tsu is high tone. Again, sorry. The one that says also So when you have some list of things, oh yeah, I got this, this, and this too. That one is high tone, and it comes at the end, right? Khatsu, me too, right? So low tone coming before a verb means to do that verb again, especially a command form. Suye yanaka, say it again, right? Suye nasne, do it again. Tsukana ako, try it again. So then you could say things about the weather. You know, siudakusatan yayagi kasiudakusatan tatke. Right? It's a very good rainforesty combination. And so that's what we're learning. We're just learning these sort of longer patterns, and then we're going to start learning how to use these things in what we call imperfective, perfective, and future. These are your sort of three main forms that you start learning how to use a verb for. And then we're going to start learning how do you put those things together. Because you could take a verb and you should be able to start moving it back and forth between these kind of time references, right? So, and then the weather is the chapter that starts to get us thinking about that. So then when we move to the perfective, we had kuwati, but now it goes from a U to a double O. And sometimes for a verb, this could really change the meaning, because you could say, khatqadzati, I exist. But then if you said, khatqudzati, I was born, right? So it's going back to my birth as opposed to just my being in existence. So for this one, how was the weather? Wasaquati.
Wasakuati.
Wasaquati.
Wasakuati.
So it's a different verb. How would I ask, how was the ku'ig? Or how would I say, how was it? How do I say, how is it? How do I say, how are you?
Uti.
Okay, so wasa iyati. So there's the iyati. So there's the object on there. So I'll change that to third person. How is it?
Wasa wuti.
Yeah, we. So wasa yati. How is it? Wasa wuti. How was it? Right? You getting up and drinking all your coffee because you're at ku'ik all night. Wasa wuti we ku'ik. Wasa wuti we ku'ik. Right? How was the ku'ik? Wasa wuti we kuyaw dahayi. How was the movie? Wasa wuti we atkunatini. How was the traveling? How was whatever, right? So this is kuwati wuti. This is moving it into this sort of state where we're talking about it has already happened, right?
Could you use that about an individual like object? Like, I took out my new fishing rod. How was it? Would that work?
Yeah. You could say, "Achis shechut awe kachwaach." I tried out my new fishing rod. Wasabuti, because it's over, right? It's not happening right now. So, and I could just say wasabuti. How was it? And so, sort of in the context of using this stuff, we always find language likes to find kind of short ways to communicate because but same thing, like wasa atmune tatke. What happened yesterday? Oh, ach ish chandech wa koch. I went to go see my dad. Oh, wasa yeti ish. In that case, I'd probably use the right now. Wasa, how's your dad doing? Wasa yeti ish. Wasa yeti itla. Wasa wuti. How was it? This thing that is now over would be the wuti, right? And is brevity a custom or individual? Or some too long-winded? That's a really good question. I guess it depends on the situation. There are some folks who do like to talk. When Tlingit was In conversational Tlingits, sometimes you get people who talk a lot more than others. It might depend on what the thing is, and so as we watch sort of like Jock, her videos, like who does most of the talking? And that's always an interesting sort of thing to just watch. And some of the things we watch for too is like, how do people signal that they want to turn, or how does, and because I've been in some conversations where we've recorded it, and somebody like Kehinak, John Martin, he'll just like, you talk, okay, you, and now I'll talk, right? And so sometimes someone takes over and sort of manages the conversation, but in just sort of a free-flowing conversation, it's a cultural thing wherever you go. Like in English, someone who's from maybe a kind of a more quiet kind of a family where people are not, they just talk at a slow pace and there's lots of air in between, might have a hard time with another family where you gotta just like throw your shoes at people in order to be able to talk, right? And so, and Tlingit, that's it kind of depends on the situation, just day-to-day stuff. There was probably a lot of variance. There's, especially a long time ago, there were probably real talkative people, and there were probably ones who didn't talk a lot. And I know one thing that Hajak T used to say, Walter Sobolov, is he'd say, everybody's trying to talk too fast. That was one of his things that he said to folks. It's just, it doesn't always have to be fast, because we know some fast speakers, and some of us want to try and emulate those fast speakers, and sometimes it's kind of fun to have a language that just really flows. But I know that was one of his recommendations. And I know if we focus on that and then we speed it up later, it does help with tone and vowel length. Okay, so the weather was good. Kuwak-e,
Kuwak-e.
kuwak-e,
Kuwak-e.
Hoosh-a-goose,
Hoosh-la-goose.
hoosh-a-goose,
Hoosh-la-goose.
Huwat-ah,
Huwat-ah.
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 So if I said yet-ah, it's hot, how would I say, like I'm telling a story, it was hot? So yet-ah would go to woot-ah. Yeah, woot-ah. So yuck-a, it's good. It was good. Wook-a, right? So ya to woo. It's a pretty predictable pattern. So you could say wasayati, wasawuti, yuck-a, wook-a, yet-ah, woot-ah. The weather was cold. Husiat,
Husiat.
husiat,
Husiat.
hudegwats,
Hudegwas.
hudegwats.
Hudegwas.
Oh, so the other one was kudegwats without the W. So when it goes perfective, now the W gets added there. So you go from k to ku. So you really got to sort of focus on that rounding that goes on in there.
On that last one, the one right above this, would that change to huwusiat? It's going in the past, the weather what? No.
No, that's it right there. That's
That's it. Okay.
But if it's cold, sa'at, right? Ooh, that water is cold. The water was cold. Wusi'at. Wusi'at, right? So, once we're going to get into these perfectives a little later. We'll just sort of look at them now. But when we look at them later, we're going to learn how to put these together. Like there's a formula, and really you learn how to do the prefix, and then you learn how to do the stem, and you put them together. But you're going to start to hear a lot of these. They're going to, like ause and wussy and wushle and woodley. That's what they're going to sound like. You're going to get this W sound in a lot of them, except for the second person ones. When it's like you, then it's going to switch to a Y. Hwasiku, yisiku. That Y has to be. Kashkushka. Kashkushka. Our dog.
Our dog.
Our dog.
Our dog.
Our dog.
Our dog.
That means it stopped, whatever. Maybe it was glating, maybe it was kaklahining, maybe it was sewing, right? But then our dog means it's not precipitating anymore. Precipitation has stopped. So now we get another phrase, and then, so this same thing, we see gone as outside. So what the sentence is doing here, wasayati, how is it? Then we specify what the thing is. We can ask about anything now. Somebody's dog gets hurt and has to go to the vet. Wasayati ikatli, how's your dog? Wasayati ikaryi, how's your car? Wasayati, whatever, right? And in this case, wasayati, gone. So gone is outside. Wasayati, gone.
Wasayati gone.
Wasayati, gone.
Wasayati gone.
Ade akqwashqain.
Ade akwashkain.
Ade akqwashqain.
Ade akwashkain.
So this qain is to look at something, to kind of, and it could be like kind of staring at it too, but in this case it's saying I'll go look at it, right? So the one thing that we'll look at here is this kakwa. When we get that in the prefix, that is I am gonna, right? Kakwa, I am going to. And one thing that we'll do later, like this chapter gives us like a sneak peek at some of these verbs, like when we start moving them into the yesterdays and the tomorrows. But then later we'll learn how to build these patterns. Kakwa, I'm gonna. Gachtu, we're gonna. Kaki, you're gonna. Gahi, y'all are gonna. Kakwa, he or she is gonna. Has kakwa, they are going. And that's all of them. Or I guess gachdu, someone's going to. And so what we'll do is we'll start learning how to build these prefixes so that we just become really good at formulating them. And then we're able to start just saying, I do it, you do it, you're going to do it, she's going to do it, and all that other stuff. Okay. So I think we talked about this. When we look at the suffix day, what does that translate to? Day. Towards. And then dach, from. And it could be from that time as well. So in this case, we know tatge is yesterday. So tatge dach would be since yesterday, right? Chag is long time ago. Chagudach, from long time ago. Right? And so this is how these things work. And Tlingit, space and time are just very similar. So if someone says like Siudak Satan, it's raining, and you want to say it's been that way since yesterday. Chutatke dachaya. Chutatke dachaya. And those are the weather perfectives. And then there's some of them that aren't in there. Ayaudati, Siudak Satan, because those are already perfective. So there's quite a few verbs in Tlingit where you're going to say them in the perfective even if you're using what would be in English the present tense. Right? Chwesaku, I know it because it has already happened. I can only say that if it's already happened. You could say Siudak Nastan, and that's like it's just starting to rain. It's starting to rain right now. Any questions on that stuff?
Can you plug in any time thing on Dach? Do you say since, 1948 Dach or
Yeah.
forever Dach?
Or you could say, like I've seen this one, Yidach chatzati yidach. Anybody know how to translate that one?
Since you were a young boy.
Yeah, from the time I was a young boy, right? And so there it is. So it could go on to a verb as well. Cool. That was shadach. It's in his yidach chatzati yidach ayah yak achchi yewu tiyin. Ever since I was a young boy, I've had boats or something like that, I think he said. So yeah, the dach is a time, right? So chak is long time ago. Klagu is like ancient, forever kind of days. And then you can go dach from those. And you can go day towards those things too. Okay.
Would you say, like, Sue our doc, like, or how would you use that in a sentence?
Oh, like the awadach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, you could say siu. Yeah, siu awadach would work. Late awadach, or you could say siu dak, siu dak usatanen yidatra awadach. Or it depends how you're using it. If you're saying it was raining but now it's not, you could say yats utat siu dak usatan. Or you could say awadach. It depends, like if you need another time reference or something, or you could say chayesu awadach, like it just recently stopped. Then maybe you're saying, let's go outside or whatever. But the rain doesn't stop us. Okay, so now we'll look into the future. There's two ways to say this one. Seqanan.
Seganan.
Seqanan.
Seganan.
Seqan.
Seganan.
Seqan.
Seqan.
So it's another time reference. I could say, Suye ikasatin seqanan. I'll see you tomorrow, right? Hunda kehiti de kekwagut seqanan. I'm going to go to the store tomorrow. Honolulu de kekwadekin seqanan. I'm flying to Honolulu tomorrow. It's not true, but nice. And then this one, it kind of could translate to however or although. And there's a couple ways that we make these can make these logical turns. This is one of them. But sometimes it just sort of is calling attention to who we're talking about. And so, but then a lot of times when it's used like that, it's taking a little bit of a logical turn. Like I might say, somebody comes over and says, what would you guys like? Dasagi to wasaku yidinayi. What do you guys want to drink? Ya'achuni de tawasuku hin khatqo'a kahwe. My friend wants water, but I want coffee. This can also be used with wa'eh in front of it, and I can ask you any question that you just asked me, right? So you could say, wasadu asak iish, skanda'u yedusak in achish, wa'eqo'a. But that's a little unusual. Usually it's like wasa ieti, heshwasachat uti wa'eqo'a. So that wa'eqo'a is just sort of, and you. And then you'll hear fluent speakers, if they're talking just kind of at a good clip, a lot of times they'll say qwa instead of qu'ah. Right? Then we get a few of our different maybe types of things. So the first one's just a straight maybe yes, maybe no. We say shakte,
Shakte.
shakte,
Shakte.
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 And then there's a couple other ways to say no, and one is or to say maybe, and one is maybe probably, and one is maybe not, right? But for now, we'll just stick with shakte. Okay, so now when we get to the future, it's going to change. There's a couple things that are going to change for us, right? And so one of them is sometimes we're going to get K in front of it, and sometimes we're going to get yay in front of it. And this is totally predictable, but we've got to now learn a little bit more information about a verb. So when we go look up a verb, like, get out of the fart section, we go to gone, we'll go look up this verb root, gone. So here it is, burn, light, or shine. And then we've got to be lit. Here is the sun to shine. So this is the verb that we're looking at. How do we read this verb theme? So one of the things that we look at is we say it's got a thematic, it's got a zero group plus D classifier, so it should be di or da. The verb root is gone. There's some different gone verb roots. And then it means for the sun to shine. But this information right here, it is a qa event verb. This is giving us some information about this verb. Every Tlingit verb has a conjugation type. 0, na, ga, and qa. Ga means upwards, qa means downward. Because of that, in the future forms, you are going to have ye for the qa conjugation. This is why you say tsu ye ikqasatin. And this is why you say ke quak a. It's gonna get better. Right? It's completely determined by two things: the conjugation type and the verb mode. So there's just a few things that conjugation class tells us. One is in the command form, it's going to have to pop up that way. And the other is in a few different verb modes, it's going to pop up, or the ye or the k will pop up. So because of that, for the weather, and you can say the weather will be fine, but you can also say the weather will get better, because, yak a, wook a, kekwak a. It's gonna get better, right? It's gonna get better. So in this case, whoops, kekwak a,
Hey, cook, a.
kekwak a,
Hey, cook, a.
kekwak a.
Hey, cook, a.
How do you say I'm good?
Qatyak a.
Khatyak a. I was good. I don't know why you'd say it. I guess you're trying to explain yourself. Khatwuk a. I will be good. Or I'll get better. I don't know. It could be the other way. Ke khat kwak a. Right? So the K comes before the pronouns, right? So this is something, sometimes I'll use command forms with my kids. I'll say, igak a, be good. And sometimes I'll use future forms. Ke ikwak a, you're going to be good. They're both command forms, right? But, speaking with kids. And so once we start looking at these futures, though, and we're just going to look at them, then we'll set them aside and we'll do something a little different. But I want us to start sort of thinking about, why is that K there, right? And so there are certain things, too, like there's other verb modes, like for it to be happening right now. One time I went to visit Nora and I said, ya undagun. And she said, ye undagun. And I was like, oh yeah, it's qa conjugation, so I should know that. And so with Tlingit, the verb gives us a bunch of information. But then the more we sort of practice this stuff, it does start to make sense. There's just a bunch of different things to grab onto. It will be sunny. Ye aguchtagan.
Ye aguchtagan.
Ye aguchtagan.
Ye aguchtagan.
It will be cloudy. He kuguchlagoose.
Hey, cook, goose.
He kuguchlagoose.
Hey, cook, goose.
Will be hot. Ke kukwata.
Hey, cook, what?
He kukwata.
Ke kukwata.
So again, it's hot. Yet'ah, like the water is hot. It was hot. Wut'ah, it will be hot. Kekwat'ah. Right, so that K has to pop up there because it's going to be the same, a very similar verb. The k is going to come off of it when it's not the weather. It's going to be cold. Ke-kukuch-sa'at.
Ke kukusaat.
Ke-kukuch-sa'at.
Ke kukusaat.
So, you know, ikinak-ati itinach-iyati. Ke-kukuch-sa'at. You need your jacket. It's going to be cold. It's going to precipitate. So we had wusatan. When we move that one into the future, we get dak guchsatan.
Kuksatan.
Dak guchsatan.
Dak kuksatan.
And Shirley Kendall, she had a fun exercise for us. She said, it was like this little joke where she's like, oh, maybe we should have a picnic. And then you're supposed to say, Siu dak satan every single time. Say, oh, well, maybe we'll have a picnic tomorrow. Siu dak satan. Oh, well, maybe on Saturday. Siu dak satan. And you just keep going. Then after a while, she'll say, Tlinket awe uhan, kushtech wasakuwati. We're Tlingit. It doesn't matter what the weather's like. We're going to have a picnic. So there's the guch satan, right? So we start to sort of see, and how would you say, get used to it? That would be that's a hard one. So the way we say that is we're going to look for accustom. I'll look on this page.
Become accustomed to it. Like accept it almost.
Oh, there it is down there. You use this browser all the time. How do you spell that? Is it you?
I was the wrong word
Oh,
that I was trying to spell. So AC, spell custom and put an A in front.
Ah, there we go. Let me see if it's in here.
accustomed. It's kind of a weird English word too.
Mm-hmm. There's, I'll have to think about that, and I'll have to ask a speaker because there's a couple ways to like sort of get used to it. You'd probably have to say something pretty different in Tlingit to just say like you're gonna have to predict it, or there's certain ways to say like you get in the habit of doing something. I have to think about that one. That's a good question. Okay, we'll do these futures and then we'll take our break. And then, so just sort of, I think at this stage you memorize them, right? And you start to see you've got guchda and guchda, guchsa, guchsa, kukwa. Those are going to be your two variations with the weather. You're going to have kukwa, or you're going to have guchsa, guchla, guchda. And we'll talk about why that is later. The weather will be foggy. Kukuchtagwas.
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 Ye ayaguchtati.
Ye ayaguchtati.
Ye ayaguchtati.
Ye ayaguchtati.
Akwadak.
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 Gwash.
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 So gwash means maybe, but it signals a little bit more doubt than shakde. Shakde is kind of a middle of the road, but gwash is like maybe, but maybe not, kind of a thing. So then we get these patterns like seqanan, ye ayakuchtagan. Maybe it's gonna sunshine tomorrow, right? And then we get the progressive imperfectives, but I think we'll just skip those. Maybe we'll come back to them later. So let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll just do some nouns, and then we'll move up to the next chapter, which is looking at body parts and stuff like that. So now here's another list of nouns. We'll just go through these. Ka, ka, hook,
Cook.
hook,
Cook.
cook,
Cook.
cook,
Cook.
ik,
Ik.
ik,
Ik.
chalk,
Chalk.
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 And that is only driftwood that's already on the beach. It's not floating. Tuck, tuck,
Tuck.
plucked,
Tuck.
plucked.
Plucked.
Back to the driftwood. Shock. And did you say it's not floating driftwood
Yes.
as opposed to the picture?
I guess I need a different drift. Is that kind of on the beach? No, is that drifting?
It might be, but
Looks like it's jammed on the rocks.
Oh,
and then the water's coming.
But it's in
I
the
should get a
bottom.
different. I should get a different picture.
But there's like a piece on.
Shock is usually on the beach. Shame. Okay, I'll fix that. In the next edition, sheesh. Yak a,
Yeah, hey.
yak a,
Hey.
gotch,
Gosh.
gotch,
Gosh.
uwakan,
Wakan.
uwakan.
Wakan.
And this one's pretty fun. Like when someone becomes like an official. Like there was these positions we had. Like let's say, especially, I'm a clan, and then there's a clan over. We're a clan, and then there's a clan over here. And sometimes we'd get in little squabbles. And so there would usually be someone from another clan who was closely related to usually both of us, or was a real level-headed person. And they might be the one that we call in to resolve disagreements. And those disagreements could be pretty mild, or they could be pretty severe. But the person who would resolve those disagreements for us, we would usually give them a name. So it would be some noun plus quwwaqan. Dagitgiya quwwaqan. Shawat quwwaqan. Gunha quwwaqan. And then that becomes their name, one of their names, and they are the official peacemaker for our clan. And that can also be removed, but that is one way that word does work. Qakh, qakh,
Ach.
shaqwayna,
Wayna.
shaqwayna,
Wayna.
ow,
Ow.
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 And I noticed some folks picked, I think it's cheich for king crab, but the word that I was told by Bill Fawcett was eat cuts ow. And eat is what they call a halibut hole. It's a deep part in the ocean. And then eat ka would be something on the halibut hole, or the deeper part of the ocean. And ow. So eat cuts ow would be the deep water crab. Ikhat,
Speak.
ikhat,
Speak.
ikhat,
Speak.
ik, 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 usa,
Usa.
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 There has been a bit of probably a shift. I think nowadays we're calling that one ichkat, which is flat. Just because the word long time ago, I think it was always kind of a bowl. we didn't really have like flat kind of plates. Like I don't know what everybody ate out of a long time ago. Bowls, I guess. And then, and so I think now ik is sort of trending to be bowl, and then hot is plate.
Does that have anything to do with Shastin? They're
No, but that's a good, because that one is, if we look at that word, we'll go,
like spoon in there. I don't know.
so here's ikshastin, and it has to do with, I think it has to do with iksh though, which it might be related to, right here, false hellebore, which is iksh. And this is also a word. So this is a very poisonous plant, but if you look through it, you won't turn to stone if you see things that turn you to stone. And it's also an old word for binoculars. Okay. Uste.
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 Castanese.
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 So tus is thread, da is around, nase is to apply some kind of oil, like nase on its own is a lotion. Yadanase is, well, now it means like sunscreen, but it used to mean specifically like how people would put tallow on their face so that they wouldn't get sunburn. Chas,
Chas.
chas,
Chas.
tus,
Tus.
tus,
Tus.
niece,
Niece.
niece,
Niece.
sissa,
Sissa.
sissa,
Sissa.
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 Here's one of those double A things. So it's the one that it sisses, just to blow around, right? Because they would, the first time Tlinkits probably saw this, it was used for sails. Taka,
Taka.
taka,
Taka.
kanata,
Kanata.
kanata,
Kanata.
hita,
Hita.
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 So it's the one that hit, which is to sweep. Hita,
Huta.
hita,
Huta.
hita.
Huta.
And then hut is to chop or to chip or to add. Sit,
Sit.
sit,
Sit.
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 Glee,
Glee.
glee,
Glee.
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 In Tuscan they say gleeing, right? It's got this kind of on the end. That is also muscle, right? So it's not always just meat, it's muscle as well. So you could say shidli. I guess you could say wushidli in Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like he used to be really muscly, but maybe not anymore. A snowstorm, gleit qidi,
Glade. Glade.
gleit qidi,
Glade. Glade.
gleit qidi.
Glade. Glade.
Spark, yiktla,
Yikta.
yiktla.
Yikta.
And then this type of, what do they call that?
Bear bread.
Bear bread. Astaqatli,
Astaqatli.
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 As is a tree. Da is a round. Qatl, there's probably a high tone on it, is a cracker. And so the word for cracker comes from probably this thing, right? And then there's another type of mushroom. And I don't know which one it is, though. I think it's called kanaltsakatli, squirrel cracker. And so this one is cracker around the tree. Astlagwa.
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 So gluk means to scratch up something. So it scratches up the trees. Okay. Let's move on to the next chapter. This is Kehinak. Chayesu hastu yiqaqachatlaq. Yahyati. Hastu yuchatangi atchachayechi. He says, I'm still in that mode, reaching for them for help. It's like that when I use their language. So this is part of a larger speech that he gave, John Martin. I was asking him, what do learners need to hear? And he gave this incredibly inspirational speech. You can find it on YouTube, and this is just pulling a chunk out of it. So here's a dialogue exercise. I know you guys did yours. This is another fun one to practice. So someone is person A, someone is person B, and then you get lines 1, 2, 3, right? And we'll just kind of move through this, but it's a fun one to practice. So how are you feeling? It's a little bit different than how are you, wasa'iyati. Wasashti danuk is like, how do you feel? How are your emotions? If you don't really know somebody, it could probably be a little bit invasive. But if you know them, it's probably fine, especially if you know, if you're concerned about them too. It might be something to ask.
Is it different from wasa tuati?
Yeah, so wasa ituati could be translated, it could be interpreted in a couple different ways, like how is your inside? But it could also be in terms of like, what do you desire? So it could mean both things, which is why we've sort of transitioned into suggesting people use wasa'iyati, because that's pretty straightforward. But you could say yewe achtuwati. That could mean that's how I feel, or that could mean that's what I want. So it's a little tricky. Okay. Wasashti danuk.
Wasashti danuk.
Wasashti danuk.
Wasashti danuk.
Wasashti danuk.
Wasashti danuk.
So the T danuk is the part that's saying you, right? So there's a couple parts. So there's the wasa, how. This SH thing right before a verb, it means to the self. And it's a contraction of the word chush. So whoosh or wooch is together, chush is to the self, right? And so we're going to see this pop up in a number of different ways, but in a verb, it's usually just going to go down to this SH. So when you say shtuchaltu, I'm teaching it to myself, right? And so when it pops up before a verb, it usually refers back to the self, and then the t part has to do with the inside of something. So we went over some of these sort of words like aka and ada and atayi. Atu means inside of a closed container. And we also, it could be like a person in their mind or in their spirit. And then danuk as a verb means to feel something. Like if you said ju danuk, you're feeling it with your hand, right? And then here's the response. Keshwasa.
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 Wasa'iyati.
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 Keshklachatushke.
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 So this is getting into deep misery territory, right? So Kesh is negative. Klach is very similar to kunach. It means like very, right? And then chat, the object. Tushke, like, that's okay. Like feel like there's that insight again. So I feel awful. I really feel terrible. That's how there's some things going in here that are really ramping up the negativity in terms of how someone might be feeling.
Is klach like negative?
No, what's that?
Negative kunach?
It's just a different way. And so like as far as how we can sort of ramp things up, so you could say yuck a, we'll stick with the good stuff, right? And you could say kunach yuck a, it was really good. And then you could say kach yuck a, it was very good. And so there's not they're pretty much the same. It tends to be kind of a personal preference thing. If you look at it, I would probably say kunach is used more commonly. And then, but this one you can also do this combination, kachwasa yak which is how very good it was. So now we've gone up even higher, where kunach and kach are about the same. But when you say kachwasa yak whoo, that's really getting good. And then maybe the top-notch one. You could double those two up. And now it's just getting better and better and better and better. And then I guess you can get really dramatic with it. Nothing is better. So now this is how you can really, because sometimes you gotta schmooze up your language and really like push it up into this upper echelon. And this type of stuff does help. Just kunach and kachwasa, kachwasa. And if you take this type of information and go into especially hatu nagu yis by the Dauenhauers, and you just sort of read those ko'ich speeches and those ceremonial speeches, you'll see people in there. How much it gave us courage to see something or to hear something, right? So it's really good for using in Tlingit. Compliments, but you could also say kunach klesh chatushke, right? Kechatnanik shakteya.
Shakteya.
Kechatnanik shakteya.
Kekatyanik Shakteya.
So here's another one. So we've got like sick. So you could say Yanik
Yanik.
was sick. Wunik
Unik.
will be sick. Kekwanik
Kekwanik.
getting sick. Kenanik.
Kenanik.
So you're going to get this na that pops up right in front of it. And then at the front of the verb, you're going to get ya or ke or ye. How do you know which one it's going to be?
Conjugation prefix.
Conjugation prefix. So all of the ga verbs, ke nakain, it's getting better. Ke nanik, it's getting sick. Ke nashsin, it's gaining strength. Yanasquain, starting to learn it, right? So this is another, so we've kind of started to introduce some verbs. We've got imperfective, which means it's happening. Perfective, it has happened. Future, it's gonna happen or be that way. And now the fourth one we started to look at is what we call progressive imperfective, which means it's starting to get that way, right? And like getting sick, sometimes you get you get the little tickle in your throat, like maybe I'm getting sick. right? And so this is, and we could say ke inanik shakte. Maybe you're getting sick. So this is just another way to sort of start using these, and we see that nik, yanik, wunik, ke konik, ke nanik. And so it's just a couple of different variables, and we're just sliding these verbs back and forth between these different modes.
What does the yuck do at the end?
I don't know why it's there. That's a good question. These come out of beginning Tlingit, and so I didn't want to change them. But I would probably just say, Kechet denik shakte.
Maybe it relates back to like the previous sentence. Like, I don't know.
It could. I'm not exactly sure why it's there. Eudechwet kwa weke.
Udechwet Waweke.
Eudechwet kwa weke.
Udechwet Waweke.
So there's a couple, you can also, and sometimes there's various ways to say a similar thing. Like if I really knew you pretty well, and you're saying, wasasiyeti, because maybe I notice you don't look so great, right? And then you might say, I might say, maybe you're tired. But if I don't know you that well, or if I'm just trying to, so this is another way to kind of say maybe. Gwa, we, ge. It's putting a couple different things together to say, maybe, perhaps, if I may so suggest, you're tired, right? It's just getting a little bit more sort of less presumptive, I guess, is what I would say about this construction. But most people would probably just say, gwal, maybe you're tired. Yep. Kijk, het je niet.
Kijk, gaat je niet.
Kijk, het je niet.
Kijk, gaat je niet.
Whenever I do this, I just want to say, dear universe, none of us want to get sick because we learn these phrases, and sometimes if you're sick, you need to learn how to say that stuff, though. Was there a question?
Yeah, I've noticed sometimes that, like here you have at the end of the sentence, but it's not capitalized at the beginning. Is that a convention that Tlingit won't capitalize?
No, just for a lot of my teaching stuff, I do, because if you've got the letter I, and if you don't have a serif font, it's hard to tell if it's an L. That's all.
Or if it's I, but it's an I, then
Yeah.
you have to keep fixing that. You know what I mean?
If I were making the rules on capitalization, I would say I would only capitalize the big ceremonial things like Yeich, the trickster. He would have a capital one. Hashuka and Hashagun. But usually if I'm writing in Tlingit, I don't like to capitalize. But if I'm writing for like something that's going to be published, I usually do capitalize. That's a good question.
Even like proper names.
Yeah, like Keochne, capital K. Okay, so saying, oh dear, Atlein ut,
Train at.
Atlein ut.
Train at.
It's just like, literally means like big or many things. So Atlein could mean big or many. Depends how it's being used. And so that's a common thing for Tlingit. There's a verb that's not a verb. It's an adjective. And there's a verb to say big, but it could also mean many. And you just get it from the context. Gusa we yanik.
Gusawe Yanik.
Gusa we yanik.
Gusawe Yanik.
Gusa we yanik.
Gusawe Yanik.
And now you can learn any body parts. And now this is knee hurts, foot hurts, back hurts, neck hurts, head ache. All of those different melodies now, body part plus yanik, right? And now we get headache, achut yanik, tummy ache. In this case, achletuch yanik,
Achleituch Yanik.
achletuch yanik.
Achleituch Yanik.
And so there's this other thing. So if you've got a body part and Yannick, then the way that you fix that is you have body part Nagu, right? And so Nagu, what is that? The Nagu part. Medicine, right? So it's a possessed form of medicine. So if you said Shetuch Nagu, that would be like a cough drop, right? Or if you have Chut Nagu, that would be like a Tums or something. So this is how you do the medicine for the thing. So when you have Yannick, you have the body part that hurts, and then you might have the medicine that helps with that particular sort of thing. Yeah, Tuwu Nagu. So in that case, you have Ka, a person's, somebody's, Tu, intentions, spirit, feelings, emotions, Nak. Put them all together, and you get Ka, Tuwu, Nagu. To heal a spirit, to heal somebody's emotions. And so, Hatu Nagu Yis, or I think it's Hatu Nagu Yis, right? For our healing spirit, right? To heal our spirit. And so, this would be to heal a person's. Because the way that the Ka works as a possessive pronoun, it means people's, right? People's. So you say, like we were just kind of, someone asked me once how to say, how do you say like being a mom is hard? And I was like, Katla kustiyi chitzi. The life of a person's mother is difficult. So then this one is tying two concepts together. The first one is I hope. At auch deshi.
At auch deshi.
At auch deshi.
At auch deshi.
Iwunechi.
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 At auch deshi iwunechi.
At auch deshi. Iwunechi.
So in this case, you have, I hope you recover. So wuneich means he or she recovered, got better, healed, right? And then there's a related verb, like you say, hausaneich hayuchatangi. Our language healed us. Our language saved us. So this is an instance where you see like wuneich got better, ausaneich, he or she healed them, or something healed them, right? So we see that classifier switch, in this case, saying somebody did it. It didn't just happen. Somebody made it happen, right? Gunashish.
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 Now we get some body parts. So we'll start there. We're looking at a picture of somebody, but of course we look at the pronoun, not saying my, right? So once we learn a body part, we should be able to say achsha, isha, dusha. And the fun part about body parts, we can say ha-sha, and that doesn't mean our collectively shared head. That means our heads. You don't have to pluralize it. Hajin, our hands. That's how Tlingit works. Achsha.
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 Achik.
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 And a lot of people, they've done like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, like the song. But chik is the upper arm. This is chiksha,
Chiksha.
the head of the upper arm. Because in Tlingit, body parts have body parts. So you have a kek and a keksha. There's a head on your finger. Achjin.
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 And another fun part with Tlingit and body parts is jin is the entire arm or the hand. You get it from context. Same with chus. It's a foot, and it's also a leg. Ach'eq.
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 Or ach'eq.
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 Achwoo.
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 Ach'oot.
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 For most speakers, like ach'oot would be your stomach. And then you would be your abdomen. So if you're talking about pains and stuff, like does the muscles hurt, like, or is it your stomach, right? So those are a couple of different related things. Achki.
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 So that Y at the end, this is one where, like, because if you say like to touch a body part, we used to would do these exercises and would say yikitishi, and then they'd say whoa yikitishi. So it gets just this little kiit. It's hard to sort of it almost sounds like a rising type of thing, but it happens because you're making a smile ki. And so otherwise it just sounds like you're saying touch your killer whale or touch my killer whale, right? So it's got that Y at the end. Achus.
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 Achya.
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 It's a face, right? The whole face. Achshachawu.
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 So the chawu part means the hair. So head hair. You also have like shoyik chawu and gukyik chawu and other types of chawu. But the sha part is what puts it on the head. Achguk.
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 And then they get really fun, and so you could really look at these body parts, and you could see how Tlingit likes to compound. Like this one, I think is achkukyikchuti, is that little flap that you can sometimes close if you want to plug your ears, and it's the tongue inside the ear. Achwaq.
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 Achshu.
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 We're at a meeting and we're like, and we spoke Tlingit, and we did one of these things like, who's going to do this work? And everybody did the nose goes thing. And I was last. I didn't notice they were doing that. And so I was being silly, but I was like, well, our name is Tlukach Adi. So we've been on the nose of it forever. So I was like, so I don't have to play nose goes. But Tlu is also a point of land. Ach'eh.
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 And then ch'eh is a mouth, but it's an opening. So you're going to see this all over the place too. You're going to see this put into certain verbs, and you're also going to see it like chawush is the doorway. So it's mouth opening hole is what it means. And then ahat would be the opening cover, and that's a door. Achuch.
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 Achshetuch.
Achletuch.
Achshetuch.
Achletuch.
And so now we get these patterns. So you could say achjin ayah,
Achjin ayah.
achwaq ayah,
Achwaq ayah.
achshechawu ayah.
Achshachawu ayah.
I could say, and then we can do sort of the gusu yadu. So I could say gusu iki.
Gusu yadu.
Yadu achki, right? It's your knee. Gusu ichus. Yadu achus. So that's what this chapter is showing us. Is like some more patterns, like or using the same pattern, gusu, yadu, right? And it shouldn't be way do unless your foot is over there. And then do. And then you've got Simon Yechayacha. I think we only did this once. We did it in Glacier Bay, maybe. Simon Says. That was a pretty fun thing. Kesh Yechayacha. Simon. So this verb, Yechayacha.
Yechayaka.
Yechayacha.
Yechayaka.
Yechayacha.
Yechayaka.
The translation of that is she or he is saying, and then you get like whatever the thing is, right? And so yeyawaka would be the perfective mode. And so we'll see that one quite a bit because as we start to learn how to tell stories and narratives, it's important to say, and then he said this, and then she said that. And so you're going to see a few different ways that this verb has a couple of, well, this verb root has a few different variations because the most common ones you're going to see is chayaqa, and this one is kind of interesting because in the imperfective it's going to be ye chayaqa, but when it goes, or in the imperfective, when it goes perfective, for some reason the prefix is going to change. So instead of ye chawaqa or chewaqa, it goes ye yawaqa. It switches to ya from cha. I don't really know why. But in the imperfective is really the only time that it's going to be cha. Because you could say, ye yakwaqa, she or he is going to say, and it's going to be ya. And then you get kesh awuqa. She or he is not saying that right now. Right? So the other thing that this chapter does is it shows you how to talk about, this is a verb, it's a command form of a verb, which is to touch something. So sh is what the command form is, but what you're going to need is the letter T attaching to whatever the thing is. So I could say, nadakt sh, touch the table. I could say, hit kachit sh, touch the ceiling if you can. Right? Cut sh. So it could be any noun. It's going to get the letter T after it with sh. Right? So I could also say, kashtasa ishik. Don't touch anything. Right? Just good phrases for kids. And so what we see is sometimes the vowel is going to change shape a little bit. It's often going to go long when we put the T on there. So instead of sh, we get shot. And that T has to be there because it's signaling what is going to be touched, right? And then there's a really neat one that Cyril Kashkabu used. He said, Ach tachchankiyan, ach chintas uwashiyach. Or ya, did he say ya? Yeah, I think so. So what it's like, ach tachchankiyan, my grandchildren, ach jint has uwashi. They touched my hand, yach, and led me here. It was a beautiful phrase. He was starting this story. Okay, so the command form here, ishat she,
Ishat she.
ishat she,
Ishat she.
ichikt she,
Ichikt she.
ichikt she,
Ichikt she.
ijint she,
Ijint she.
ijint she,
Ijint she.
ikekt she,
Itekt she.
ikekt she,
Itekt she.
iwut she,
Iwut she.
iwut she,
Iwut she.
ikult she,
Ichut she.
ikult she,
Ichut she.
ikhiit she,
Ichi she.
ikhiit she,
Iki she.
ichust she,
Ichust she.
ichust she,
Ichust she.
yat she,
Yat she.
yat she,
Yat she.
Ishachawut she.
Ishachawut she.
Ishachawut she.
Ishachawut she.
Igukt she.
Igukt she.
Igukt she.
Igukt she.
Iwakt she.
Iwakt she.
Iwakt she.
Iwakt she.
Ichlut she.
Ichlut she.
Ichlut she.
Ichlut she.
Ichait she.
Ichait she.
Ichait she.
Ichait she.
So this one, like when we learn the verb for like listen to them, right? Like so someone is like just not paying attention and there's a speaker there, you could say Du chait sa'ach. Listen to them. But then you see du chait, right? So chait means to arrive at the mouth. That's really what this T part means. As we see this suffix, we have de is towards, dach is away from, T is to arrive at. And we're going to see it used in a whole bunch of different ways, and this is one of the ways. The other thing to remember with this is if you're telling a classroom of people this, how would it change?
Be,
What's that?
be,
Yeah, so you'd say ye ate, and how would the verb change?
she,
Yeshe, right? Ye ate yeshe. Y'all touch y'all's mouths, right? I don't know. Everybody touch their mouth, however you want to. Eucht she.
Iucht she.
Eucht she.
Iucht she.
Tucht she.
Ichleitucht she.
Tucht she.
Ichleitucht she.
And then here's another command form. So you have a body part. Then you have shachwash.
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 And that's, money maker shachwash, right? Shake your money maker, right? And it's just like, shake your hand, whatever. Questions about that? Everybody okay?
I think they use that for the hokey pokey, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, so you could say Yijin, Yi Shachwash, Slinkit. What is it? Slinkit Yach, Anai Ech, Yach, Ayinak. Okay,
Nagati. Whee!
yeah, what? Good cheese.
Renee, what would you use for when we do the hokey pokey, shake your whole body? They love that one.
Yi
Just
da it.
Da?
Da it.
Da it.
So da is sort of like your body generally, but da it would mean like all your body parts. And same with like, just like ach da it. Kusui yanik. Da it yanik. Like my everything hurts, right? So that would be, it does happen sometimes. So same thing, gusu we yanik, ach blank yanik, do blank yanik. So here's some more states of being, right? To be hungry or sleepy. These are a little bit different than some of the other ones that we've learned, like yak e chitzin. Ach it yan uwaha.
Ach yan uwaha.
Ach it yan uwaha.
Ach yan uwaha.
Ach it yatawaha.
Ach yatawaha.
Ach it yatawaha.
Ach yatawaha.
So this whole like eat uwaha combination, right? So blank eat uwaha. And you're gonna get a noun for the first part. It means for something to like suddenly kind of arrive or arrive without notice. And then the eat is sort of to me. Ach eat, to me. Yan is hunger. Yata is sleep. And they just kind of combine into yatawaha, yan uwaha. And there's a few of them that work like this, but not a whole lot, right? Most common ones are these two. Ach'it yan uwaha and ach'it yatawaha. Because these ones have something about, like if you get hungry or sleepy, it's usually a pretty kind of sudden sensation. And so that's probably why those ones are like that. And then chet with the chet,
Chat with the quet.
chet with the chet,
Chat with the quet.
chet with the chet,
Chat with the quet.
chet with the chet.
Chat with the quet.
That phrase has been banned from previous classes, but I'll lift the ban. It's fine. It's fine. And I do it jokingly, but so chet with the chet, ew the chet, how the chet, you the chet, would the chet, hus with the chet. Object pronouns, right? So we just keep this list of object pronouns, and as we learn these new verbs, then we could say, so now everybody can be tired now, and everybody could be thirsty. Chet shawakuch,
Chat shower cook.
chet shawakuch,
Chat shower cook.
chet shawakuch.
Chat shower cook.
So the sha part, do we recognize what that is?
Head.
The head. And then kuch is a verb which means to be emptied out or dried up. There's something in the logic of Tlingit about water in your head. So you say chet shawakuch, and that means my head has dried out. And that's not how people interpret it, but the language, that's how the language works. There's another phrase that they'll say, Tlech du shan tu dehin, which like literally means like there's no water inside of their head. But it really means like they're stupid. It's not a nice thing to say, but we learn how to say it from a play. And we're like, ooh, we're going to use that one, right? But like water in your head has something to do with keep drinking water and you'll stay smart.
I thought it was the next one, so I didn't ask, but shawahik is another one like that, right?
Yeah, so shawahik is like I'm full up to my head. Is basically how that one works. And then shawahik is to be full of solids, and shawakit is to be full of liquid.
But you know that shower cook, you do get, the back of your mouth gets dry.
Yeah, you could feel it, right?
You feel it dry in your head, and you are smarter if you are hydrated.
Right? And so it's documented in the language too, right? So it's proven, right? Which is something like drink lots of, especially if we were doing like really hard translation work, would drink lots of water, would take lots of breaks and stuff, and so okay. So then we see where the ge. We'll start to learn when this comes in, because I think it's a really common habit to just always, I used to do it, I would always just throw it at the end of everything. Super long phrase, ge. But it comes after the main thing that's being asked. So yan uwaha would mean hunger arrived, but the important part is, did it arrive to you? So with Tlingit, the ge comes right after the main thing being asked. And we'll look at some phrases that show us how we could change that, right? Like, so we could say, is that your paternal auntie holding that child? Is that your paternal auntie's child that she's holding? And there's just little sort of subtle differences, and we'll learn how to do that by moving where the ge goes. But the ge is the question marker. It makes it a yes or no question. And the question I would ask is, are we out of time? Well, we're out of time, right? So these are, the feelings chapter. So we start talking about emotions, being able to express yourself, how you feel, and then we'll just keep going with this. I'll work on getting the list ready of our nouns, and we'll start going through them next week and also hearing from you why you chose those words. And then we'll start working on memorizing them, and we'll talk about when you guys will recite them. I'm thinking we're going to probably push it back towards finals week. That way we all have time to sort of practice them, because these dialogue exercises are great. You guys are doing great work, and we'll just keep working through this stuff. Okay, goodness, sheesh.
What is that?
Yeah, it makes something a yes or no question.
I got a question here. Very good. That's where say so.
Keishu,
Uh,
chua yehasu waji we kleikach enach butterfly. Hechne koa chanakawanik moth.
the
So
picture,
it might
looks
depend on where you're from.
okay. Butterfly.
I think for most people it's probably butterfly. But Nora was pretty certain that it was moth.
The picture looks like a moth.
I know, I picked a moth-looking butterfly. I picked a butterfly-looking moth because
That was
Yes.
one of my words. Kunstisch.
the other sort of major point of contention is whether it's pleislu with a T or pleislu with an L. And there's some folks that are pretty like definitive about which one it is. And so I think it's fine either way. And then I think it's fine that it's either a moth or a butterfly. But it could be like, when we get into like insects and stuff, like it could be like there was this word that meant either one of them, and then there's a way to specify which one you're talking about. It could be one of those things too.
Airplane, so we can know each other.
Kunstisch.
But I think you're totally fine. If you say butterfly, we'll all be just fine. No one's going to fight about it.
You guys were lucky.